We're getting a...
Is anyone here? What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.
It's a slightly longer 11 minutes introduction. Usually our introduction is just a song at the end, actually. So that is slightly a longer one for Sarawak special. So you're going to listen to stories like that, but in one story, then we're going to talk about it. So that is just an intro because Singaporean, I'm from here, by the way, I'm Sarawakian. These two are Singaporeans, so they've never been to Kuching. So obviously they are here for the touristy stuff, but I'm going to give them the horror as well. Again, they are supernatural confessions, right? Okay, for the one that is following our tour tomorrow, Civic Center, Nurses Dorm, and all around that area is the place that we're going to walk tomorrow night. So hopefully it's going to be like this. The weather, it's not so hot, not so humid, but at the same time it's not raining. So we're going to explore all these abandoned places and hopefully we'll see some friends there. Right? Okay, so yeah, that is the intro part. So okay, let's pass it to Eugene and Sonia to say something before we go ahead.
Right, thank you very much for having us here. It was a great pleasure to be part of the WAK festival. And also, could you help me give a big round of applause to Kim, the main man who made all this happen. And I think, just very briefly, Kim introduced us. He did not introduce himself. Kim is one of the pillar of Supernatural Confessions. In fact, all the Spotify podcasts that you enjoy so much, this guy edits and produces the show. I go around getting confessions. You see some of the videos on YouTube. So for the new guys who just heard of us for the first time, www.supernaturalconfessions.com, YouTube, Spotify, and right now, I guess, on TikTok as well. Thank you very much.
Nice to see all of you here. Thanks so much for joining us. I don't have as much as these two to say because I'm supposed to be the rational one. So just welcome and thanks so much for having us on WAK. Thank you.
Okay, I forgot to have a special shout out because I somehow see him pop out and then disappear. He's like another entity in the building like that. Rusydie, can I have Rusydie, please? Rusydie. Okay, Rusydie is also from the Hous, whereby the body that we work together to put up this exhibition and whatnot. So you see there's a lot of artwork, nice photo, nice sculpture, right? It's my honor, your pleasure to actually meet the artist because he's actually here, Mr. Eric.
Hey!
Yeah.
Eric, set up and wave to people.
Yeah.
That's Eric.
That's Eric. So he is a tattoo artist by trade. All these great paintings, sculptures, everything, it's by Eric. So without Eric, without Hous, without Rusydie, and also of course together with us, the host here, this show would not be possible also. Okay, so you guys ready for the first confession? Yes, yeah. So the first confession is actually from Eugene interviewed this taxi driver in Kuching. So the moment he reached down straight away, he get on to work already, straight away asked the uncle taxi driver already, you got story or not? So yeah, so we got a story from, this is, shuffle in this way. So this is Francis, right? Yeah. Francis, so the taxi driver confession. So ladies and gentlemen, this one is without video, so listen to the confession.
You can check out some of these abandoned buildings. Some of it is a villa I did there. It's been abandoned for so long. So you can find all this paranormal stuff. And a few of these are from near the Batu Lintang there. Perthfield, at the Perthfield area. Yeah, this is one abandoned house. If you have the third eye, you can see it definitely on the road. Yeah.
What are some of the scariest Sarawak stories around here?
Scariest around Kuching. You have to go to Santubong for it. You have to go to Santubong Hotel and experience it. Because that Santubong Hotel, a lot of reviews in the internet, even the foreigners who stay there. And it's not a joke, it's very keras. My personal experience, I've never been there, I never want to experience there, but I have an experience in my kampong house. But now the house has already been blessed, so it's okay. So that was like 20 years ago, my kampong house, it was haunted. So I stayed there one night, and I saw like a lady and her 3 children, and her 3 kids, headless kids, no head, and they were peeping at you when you're sleeping. So that is one of my scariest moments
In your house?
Yes, my parents' house, my
A
kampong
woman
house.
with 3 headless children.
Yes, and apparently my kampong is in this mountain, and it's quite old actually. And then there's a story behind it lah. And then it used to be like there's the house. I mean, like my dad's house was sited in a land where that is the laluan lah, the jalan. So yeah, that's why we always having this kinda kacau lah. But the thing about these ghosts is that they don't kacau you, like cicai kacau you lah. They only kacau intruders. Yeah, they are good spirits. They are not the bad spirits. There are 2 spirits, bad and the good ones.
So the one that you met when they were just curious to know why you're there.
Yes.
Then when you wake up, you see them, what happened?
I wake up, I was like a bit blur. I'm like, screw you guys, I'm go back to sleep.
That's it.
Yeah, screw you guys, go back to sleep. But that's one time, after a while, like 1 year, I didn't go back. Then I started to stay there again. I clean the house and everything. And I bring my cousin. So we use salt and red, onion. So we burn the onion and we throw salt. That thing got very, very angry. I got scratches, a lot of scratch marks on my back due to it. And then we cannot take it. We have to call the priest to bless the house. Even the priest was like, "Oh, this thing is not good. This is very malicious entity." So when we having the prayer, singing and everything, that thing kept on banging on the doors, banging on the walls, banging on the roof. They're very angry, and then somehow it turns out to be this insect. It's a huge insect. I never seen a huge insect before.
Like a belasit.
Yeah, like a beetle.
Oh, okay.
A beetle, and then there's a tree, ulat bulu, they call it. Yeah, and we took that and we burned it, and guess what? It comes with like weird color, and then you can see like there's something flying from that thing. A lot of history.
So it's still there, the place. The kampong.
Still, but no more already lah. No more activity already. We demolished the house, we made a new one, so it's okay.
Okay, that is our first confession. Saying that you have 3 headless kids and a mother that looks at you in the middle of the night, right? Then we'll start with the super rational one. Let's see how she explained this the rational way and see, probably the insect. Yes, I can already hear. She say it's already insect. The confessor already say it's an insect. But let's hear she say about the 3 headlessly kid.
Yeah, so let's throw me into hot soup as soon as possible. Just give me a second. I did not tie this very tight. Yeah. That's okay. Thanks. Interestingly, when they first talked about Santubong is a hill. It's 800 meters high. It has trails and all of that in there.
Can you guys hear at the back, or do you think Sonia needs a microphone?
Do you need me to be louder? Yeah?
Okay, then let's proceed.
Okay.
It's a teacher's voice.
Yeah,
Teacher's voice.
yeah, because I teach as well. So again, because Santubong is I can't say it's a mountain, but it is 800 meters tall. And when you are living at the foot of a mountain, you are going to have some weird experiences. I have had my own weird experiences. When they say I'm super rational and I try and explain everything with science, personally, that's the first way I look at things. But it doesn't mean that I've not had my own experiences. Now, at the foot of a hill, you are going to have very... What?
Are you about to say it's the hantu?
I did not say that word. But you are going to feel some temperature changes. You're going to have different winds that come down. It does change drastically within a short period of time. That can actually affect your perception. Like when you have a sudden chill, you go, ooh, what was that? But that I can easily explain. Now, the palisade, as you said, it is an insect. Unfortunately, there has been a lot of association to the palisade because of witchcraft and black magic, a lot of associations there. I feel the insect has been demonized. You see a palisade and then automatically it's evil or someone has sent something to you. The elephant in the room, which is the headless woman and the headless children. Now, that is what someone saw, that is what someone experienced. I was not there. I need more proof. personally. Like, I have to be there, I have to experience it in order to say what they want me to say. But I was not. So I refuse to speculate. This person that shared this story, were they in a dreamlike state? Were they about to fall asleep? There's a lot that happens just before you fall asleep. Your subconscious mind, it might be a little bit more overactive. I'm trying to channel Joe here. And he will say these same things. A lot happens in that semi-sleep state, just before you fall asleep. Could it have been his imagination? I'm not discounting what he's saying. His experience is what he did experience. I'm just asking a few more questions for my own investigative purposes and mind. So, could that have happened?
There are always more questions than answers.
Yeah, you see, you can go ahead.
Okay, so I am definitely leaning towards the supernatural. Why? Again, we don't just call anything that go bump in the night must be the hantu. There must be a series of things that lends itself to some degree of evidence, in this case, for the paranormal. Things on a hill, things on a mountain, things in the forest, those who believe in animism, those who believe in the occult practices, understand that there's spirits in the forest, in the rivers, in the sea, and guardian spirits. So perhaps with regards to the resort, I understand cold draft could make people feel chilly, but for an entire resort to quit, nobody wants to work there, people don't want to stay there, that seems to be more than just a draft. Could the spirits be angry that the resort was built there without permission? Maybe.
Or could it just have gone bust due to other economic reasons?
But then I also found out the background of the person who owns the place is one of the wealthiest person in Kuching. So probably not go bust. Probably not, right? And with regards to the person staying at home, one of the things that I understand is, if you believe in this as well, just make some noise for me, okay? Never sleep with your feet to the door and your head to the window. Yes? Right? There are some places that you don't build houses upon because that is the portal or the ley line for spirits to go through as well. Right? So in this case, that person probably did not talk to the shaman, did not talk to the feng shui master, and they built their house there. Don't talk about people in the dulu kala time, the old time. Let's talk about people now, in today, 2022. We go see feng shui, cannot put window here, cannot put door there, why? We understand energy flow. So that house was built on a ley line or a place that spirits will walk. And I like that part where you say he could be in a dreamlike state and imagining things. Because people who go into trances, usually in that dreamlike state, is where they start to see things, is where their third eye open, or their senses just reach out to the other side. Correct, that line blurs. So could he have imagined something? But if he did, why a woman and 3 headless kids?
What did he watch before? What's on his subconscious mind?
Possibly. So that one, I could also lean towards, maybe he was watching a horror movie, read a book, right?
Like, we don't have enough details, context.
But also likely, because of where the house is situated, you have curious spirits coming down and looking at him. Now, palisade, yes. The skeptics will tell you, it's just an insect. If it is, why do old people look at a giant moth or a palisade, especially when those stories where you heard, when the moth would fly into a coffin and stay there, or a palisade will come into the house, especially within the 7th day of someone passing. But you don't see a palisade any other time. Only why during that time? Coincidence?
I would say it's a coincidence. And then it's something that's passed down. Fear is passed down. Things that we don't understand, we fear. If you don't have enough knowledge, you don't seek that knowledge. It can cloud your judgment, shape your narrative, shape your perspective, all of that. Now, when it comes to the moth, when it comes to the palisade, I feel they've just been demonized. And poor palisade, poor moth. Yeah. And it's just a coincidence, and then we start associating it with certain things, and then it continues through oral tradition, it's passed down, and that's how that fear develops and how it, it clings to people. And then, once it happens, twice it happens, and then we associate it to something bad. I just feel it's not enough. It doesn't repeat enough. The cycle, the repetition, it needs to be a little bit more consistent for me to say that I'll take that association at face value.
So if you're interested in joining the campaign for Palisades, please do sign up with Sonia at the door later on. Okay. What got me thinking that it could be a spirit is the fact that when they took it and threw it into the fire, they heard screams coming out from the palisade. I'm no scientist, but I know palisade don't scream the way it does, or colors that come up. But I'm glad it's not in China or Vietnam. Probably cannot put inside and burn and eat. Yeah. Okay, so I'm definitely thinking that this story has its roots in the supernatural. What about you, Kip?
Okay, I felt like I'm the audience sitting here, listening to you guys talking. Forgot that I'm also supposed to share. Okay, so the locals would know Santubong has a lot of stories, right? I mean, like, that place is, again, that Gunung Santubong has so many myths and legends and itself. Oh, again, the tour, we are heading there tomorrow, so you get to see that Gunung Santubong itself, so don't worry. Yeah, you can climb. Okay, so instead of just going direct, like then going to like Sonia or Eugene's side, I'm going to share you another story that I remember from Santubong. So this is the Century Hotel. Oh, I already mentioned name because the hotel already closed down already, Megan. So that is actually Century Hotel. Yeah. No, the one in Santubong, the golf course. If you go to Rainforest, you cannot park in Rainforest. That is where you park, right? That place. Okay. So the weird thing about that place is the golf course is still running. Yeah, our high-ranking officers, ministers still go play golf there, but the resort is not. Okay, if you want to go and have a look what it looks like inside now, but you are too scared like me to walk, shout out to Solo Ambush. Solo Ambush, we went there and have a filming during the night.
Siapakah kau di sini? Di Semenanjung ada logat. Ganteng. Watching me, thank you.
He went there deep in and then he walked. So you can watch his video. That's how it looks like today. Okay, rewind a bit. Let's say last time, have you guys ever stayed at hotel before?
The last one for us 2017.
2017. So that's quite new, right? Okay. So do you feel that there's a bad vibes about the place? Bad vibes. Okay. So I do not know whether you stay in that place where you can actually. This is a story told again by a friend. Family members went to stay in that hotel. Hotel has a balcony. Stand outside the balcony, look straight, you can actually see a telecommunication tower. If you go to the hotel, you can actually see that, right? So people always say that tower always has something that squat on that thing, right? It always has stories of like, I see a lady smiling there. Probably you heard the same story as I do. I do not know whether you heard that same. I was just picturing. So yeah, okay. So just a clearer, come, don't worry. We won't bite. We won't put anything on you too. Come. So just to let you guys have a better imagination, let's just say with the women in white, long hair, right? So people will always see that telecommunication tower with that lady there. Second thing is, technicians who need to fix the telecommunication tower, they would refuse to work after 6 p.m. If there's faulty anything, if they call, ask the technician to go and have a look, technician refuse to go. You send one whole team also, they won't climb, right? So they won't go. So what happened is, a friend stay, one whole family stay with a balcony outside the room. Cool, right? So they were standing outside looking. So the kid was standing at the balcony. So in far, this kid saw the figure there on top of the telecommunication tower, but he did not address it. He did not say it, or in Malay, we tidak tegur lah, right? He came back in. He closed only the door, the sliding door. Curtain is still open, right? The whole family just talk. But somehow, although tidak ditegur, the figure from the tower flew to the balcony and landed on the balcony. The whole family saw that thing landed at the balcony, yeah. Then the kid like, did you guys see that? Not did you guys see that? Imagine the thing already squat balcony, It's already in the balcony. The father calmly walked to the balcony door, closed the curtain. But like any other Sarawakian would do, because our ringgit so weak, they still stayed the night. They did not leave. They did not like, okay, let's go back to Kuching. No, they still stay. But of course, they didn't open the curtain. Come back, tell us the story.
Just because you don't see it.
Yeah, it's just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there, right? So yeah, that is a story from Santubong itself. So if you guys have this kind of story, again, you can always find us on any of our social media. You can always share your story. Okay, that is the story for Santubong. There's a lot other stories, and yeah, we're gonna go there tomorrow. Okay, so we're gonna open to the floor first. If there anything that you guys want to talk about, ask before we move on to the next one.
Okay, well, in 2019, I had this very weird obsession with urban exploring. So I would go with my friends and I would it never really became a thing. I never really posted it on YouTube or anything. But I actually went to Century Resort with my friend. It was I just asked my friend, hey, let's go. Like, let's bring me there. I want to go. And my friend's like, yeah, sure. So we went there and we reached at the abandoned resort, and I asked the guard, can I walk inside? And he was like, why? And then I was just like, well, I just want to look what's going on inside. And he's like, okay, you can go, but make sure the workers don't see you. And then he let me in, and I went into, because I previously stayed there when I was younger, it literally looks like nothing has changed, but it just looks very run down and abandoned. And we went to the pool, and then we met a couple of the workers there, and I asked them a couple of stories about, like, is there anything going on? And they said that, oh, we're just keeping this place alive for the things that are living here. Basically, they're just maintaining it for the people who are staying there. But yeah, that's my story.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. See, so everything collaborated, right? So we're not just making Santubong saying Santubong is a haunted place so that the Singaporeans say, oh, Santubong, you know? Local. We didn't hire the local to tell you the story. Okay, so, okay, thank you very much for the sharing. Okay, that is only first confession. Only first confession. Yeah. Yeah, anybody else to add before we go to the next one? Yeah. Anybody think that is the story from Santubong just now is actually just hallucination, stress, overwork? Yeah, very few Sarawakian overwork lah. We're not Singaporean. Singaporean overwork lah.
That's why we come here.
How many of you, show of hands, you believe the story you're more towards the rational side? Show of hands. Wow. Three. Okay. How many of you, this is beyond a doubt, confirm must be the hantu? Wow. I think 1 point to Team Hantu. Thank you.
Okay. Or maybe we get one person who thinks that this is rational.
The rational one.
Rational. Why do you think it's rational? No, just hold it. Yeah, just record. Don't have to.
No, maybe he just like stressed with his work. Like because
stress.
Overstressed. Yeah, then he hallucinate.
Saw that mother with 3 headless kids. Okay. Cool. Hey, so I'm stressed. Yeah. JK also think the same thing.
He also believes it's.
To me, it is, as long as I don't see it, it's not hantu.
It's like we need more proof, right?
Yes.
Eric, tomorrow we go walk. Send him to the place and sit and soak there. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Okay, we're gonna go to the next one. So the next one is actually want to stay anonymous because due to his work. So the next one is a tour guide confession. So ladies and gentlemen, enjoy.
Well, I was working for that company. It's a German company lah. So I was driving the tourists with the tourist guide. We drove up with a group of Dutch. So it was my first time in Longhouse, you see. Again, 4 days, 3 nights, I couldn't sleep. These things always, when they're about to come, you have that feeling, you toss and turn. You know, when you reach a certain place, you couldn't sleep. Something tends to go wrong. So first night nothing happened, okay, without the hitch. Second night, I can feel like it's quite humid, okay, longhouse especially. Even though we have fan, it's simple. No? They give you a thin piece of mattress, one pillow, and a piece of cloth as blanket. And then about 2-3, it was quite cold already. When I checked, oh, very cold already. Someone starts to pull the blanket, keeps going off. I get up, pull back, sleep, okay. Then someone pulls your toe, no? I get up. What's this, ngamok? I don't care. Sleep.
They are not playing with your toe.
What is this? Then I get up. I walk around. I go for a smoke. I'm a smoker. So I go to the veranda, smoke, hear the dog's house, hear the chicken starts to crow about 2-3 in the morning. Then I go back in, start to sleep again. I try to sleep good then I feel like someone stepping, creaking floors. Okay, shit. I just try my best to open. Suddenly, I got up.
You woke up, nobody.
Nobody. I got up. Okay. Then I check my colleague, the tour guide, who was some of the Iban guy, drunk already. Because as a driver, I don't drink when I'm on the job, you see. So after that, then the next day, as guides, we do prepare breakfast for our guests, everything, we will eat. Then I put him aside. I said, hey bro, last night with the other guides from other company, we all together. I said this, they all start laughing. Where's your aisle? I said, this one, okay. That aisle, that's why when we all the season guides, when we reach that longhouse, we never want to sleep in that particular compartment. Why is it? Because the company that I work for, they have a German guide before. He was here for on contract. Because they do send students from Germany to here, tourism, practical. They be here for 6 months to a year. So this German guy will lead them. He's an older guy, 60 over years old. He died in that place, the place I slept.
That's his bed lah.
Yes, his bed. So I'm new. I think he wasn't happy with me there lah.
I'm going to go first this time. We have all heard stories, especially when you go into school camps. There's always some lingering spirit who owns this place. Usually it's someone who has died in that place. And they keep recurring. They keep going back doing the same thing. You could either think of it as they are ghosts, or think of it as spirits of the dead living in a loop. When they live in a loop, that is their place. And there's a bit of consciousness and sentient to that spirit who will not be happy about you sleeping in their space. And they will do all they can to remove you from their spot. And where I'm thinking, again, this is probably a real encounter for him is, first of all, he wasn't going there thinking about ghosts. The first story, the person standing there with the 3 kids, maybe it's a horror movie, a book that he read. But in this case, he's a driver, he's going there, he wants to sleep. Wasn't thinking about anything supernatural. Even when someone touching his toe, his first thought is, it's a mosquito. So this is a person that I understand is not someone who goes into everything thinking it's a spirit. If he did, then maybe overactive imagination. But to get a slap in the middle of the night and to wake up, blanket pulling down, gravity lah, I give it to you. String.
Gravity doesn't work that way. It's this way.
Yeah, I give you all lah. I give the rational team 1 point. But to get slapped, wake up, and have every other guide telling you, oh, it's normal, which means he's not the first guy. Other people have also experienced it. So it's not just an imagination anymore. There's some basis and truth to this. Is it a hantu? Is it not a hantu? Debatable. But to be slapped, to be pushed out the bed, recurring, you mentioned recurring just now. Yes. This is a recurring pattern. So debunk this.
I know this is your mic, but drop it later. The video no sound later. Okay, before we go to Sonia with the super rational explanation, maybe I'm gonna say probably it's not the German guy. I'm gonna say it's not the German guy. I'm not saying that it's not hantu. I'm saying that it's not the German guy. Because I think German guy go back German already lah. I think he won't stay there lah. Yeah, won't stay there. Okay, show a hand of who actually had they come from actual longhouse. And then you have a longhouse somewhere. No, don't have Okay, don't have. Okay, but Sarawakian all knows right. Longhouse has skulls, right? Skulls, which is headhunted, right? And a lot of longhouses today still have the actual skulls, and they are supposed to protect the house, right? They are the guardians of the house. So I'm going with, this is actually the guardians of longhouse. And then probably this is a new guy, right? The guardian of the longhouse, like, never seen this guy before, ah? Is he here because he want to do work, or is he here with different intention? Let's check him out. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with that. I think it's the longhouse guardian instead of the German guy. Yeah. Because although actually the story did continue that the German guy did not die there. Yeah. The story actually continued, but because I can cut it anyhow I like, right? So actually I stopped it there because I felt that, okay, this story is good enough here. Actually, he actually did say that they're actually trying to save or rescue the German guy. So he actually died on the way to the hospital. He did not die like, when he found it on the bed, like, oh, German guy died already, ah. Okay, come. Okay, so, the German guy did not die on a bed per se, right? So, yeah, he died on the way there. Cannot be people died and spirits left behind and died there, right? I don't think that's how it works. And also, this is the kind of friend that I would never want. No, the bed haunted already. New guy, hey, sleep there, sleep here. Hey, sleep here, bro, sleep here, bro, sleep here.
Very cooling.
Yeah, very cooling. This is the best spot, sit here. Right? So, if it's me, my friend tells me sleep there, I would rather sleep in the pig at the longhouse and not there. So I'm going to go with, that is the guardian of the longhouse instead of the German guy. Yeah, so.
Oh boy. 1 against 2, and then everybody else here as well. If we speak about the blanket being pulled down, I mean, that's so easy. You toss and turn about, blanket's going to move. I don't think that's a very good factor to say that it was the H word. The H word. As for him, for slapping himself, now we move about in our sleep, it's a somatic thing. There's tons of stuff that we do that we're not quite aware of. He could have easily slapped himself. Yes, actually that is a very possible thing. We act out things that we've experienced in the day. If your mind is not at rest, you are going to act out some stuff. You are going to have some movements in your sleep. Sleep studies have shown that as well. And overactive.
There's a mosquito also.
Yeah. So.
Mosquito in the jungle here probably
yes.
a bit bigger.
They're commandos here. Yeah. Yes. So those two things very easy to explain. However, because this man narrated his story himself, he obviously had an experience that I cannot and will not discount, because he is retelling his story. However he experienced it, he's sharing that. I'm not going to say that he did not live through that, because that would be disrespecting him. We've all had our experiences and brushes with things that we don't understand, we don't explain, and I'm not about to say that it may not have happened.
So therefore,
I leave it as unexplained.
Tough, very tough.
Okay. For those who do not know, we have been together on the show for now 2 years, nearly 2 years now. So day one, we've been trying to convert Sonia into Team Hantu. So we have yet to get her to say, yeah, it must be the Hantu. She has yet to say that. So that's why you always see this.
No, but see, it took 2 years. Last time when I first met her, and why I got her on the show, she says, ghosts don't exist. She doesn't even think about ghosts. But now 2 years later, she says, maybe.
So a bit of context. He came on my night walk, and if I am going to be walking at night, how can I be fearful of what is around me? How am I going out there into the jungles at night with fear? There's no way I can do that, right? I also urbex. So if you are afraid of this other realm, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I have never once said that this other realm
you say, I didn't say.
Does not exist. But if you allow fear to seed in your heart, how are you going to do the work in that environment? And it is my work in that environment. And if it is seeded, then there is no way I'm going to be able to do what I do. So that's not my top of mind. It's not going to be, what is that sound? Is that something that I cannot explain?
Give her one more year. Yes. Can let me go over.
So I just hold it.
Yeah.
All right. So I do believe that this hantu exists. I believe it. But when you just said that you cannot go into the jungle with fear and then always having this thoughts of what's that sound in your mind, then you wouldn't be able to focus on your work, right? So while believing that these spirits and these two-dimensional beings do exist, well, they're 2D, so they can only harm you if you allow them. So, yeah, that's it.
They can only harm you if you allow them.
Audrey, thank you so much. Thanks for speaking your mind. Before I go into spaces like that, I set my intention and I put it forth to whatever is out there as a form of respect. Whether we believe or we don't, we should be respectful of our surroundings, of the areas that we go into. The energy is there. Whether you feel it, whether you're more sensitive or you're a little bit more oblivious to it, right? That's very individual. All of us have different levels of senses. But I do believe in respect very, very much. Whether or not, what is your intention of going there in the first place? Is it to disturb whatever energy is there? Or do you humbly go in for whatever your intent is? So respect, again.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. So, Team Hantu?
He believes that he was disturbed by a hantu.
Oh, okay.
Wow, 1, 2,
Okay.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So,
Okay,
good lah, I think.
don't believe that this one is rational one. It's not a hantu, something else. Or is it? No, it's a guardian.
Guardian is a hantu lah.
Guardian
I mean, it's a spirit lah.
Okay,
Spirit
not
lah. Spirit.
hantu, not hantu.
Nah, not hantu.
1, 2, 3.
It's a toss and turn and slap himself. Okay.
You want to get one?
Yeah. This is I think this is another Team Sonia here. Oh, 2 stories already. Team rational. No. Okay. All right. Okay. It's okay. We'll give it another story. Okay. Anybody slap himself awake when he sleep? Ka? Anybody ever slap himself awake when you're asleep? Seriously? Yeah, that's one hantu already lah.
Almost similar. So you don't even you just and you just shock yourself away.
One time where I was sleeping on the floor instead of on the bed, and somehow I moved under the bed, and I woke up and knocked my head on the
the papana, below the bed.
Wow. Yeah, I think you have to get a new mattress so that you sleep better. I've never slapped myself when I sleep. That never happened to me. So, yeah, falling, yes, but it's a dream. But I know it's a dream, right? Because I woke up like, that is a falling dream. But never slap myself. I snore myself awake. Yes. I sleep then. There couldn't be anybody else because it's just me. So, yes, but never slap myself. So we're gonna leave it at that.
Does
Okay.
have any pets? Does he have pets at home?
That is rumah panjang.
Yeah, but
Yeah, house.
okay, let's say for instance, anjing comes along and then tarik his blanket.
But okay. But you would be able to see the anjing there, right?
Gelap.
The anjing know how to tarik and then tie it, and then after that come tarik again. Must be professionally trained Hollywood dog. Okay, we're gonna leave it at that. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next one. Next one is actually, okay, so for those who are new to the Supernatural Confessions show, whenever we does this, apart from the actual confessor that comes and tells us their story, so that those are like actual people telling us stories, right? There are people who actually submitted like their stories in written form, like this. These are all submitted by the community, and it's on Facebook. So all these are actually different stories, and I think Rusydie printed almost 100 stories. Yeah. So then we get our narrators to actually narrate the stories, and then we'll play it, right? So this one, if later on, if you go back and you think that a show is good, if you go back, listen to YouTube, Spotify, then you will hear Linda's voice. So the next one is actually a story by Sue, and this is narrated by Linda.
14, I had just given birth to my second child, and we decided to hire a maid to help around the house. What I found out much later was that my maid had been practicing black magic right in my house. I only found about this by accident, or did I say sheer coincidence, because I kept having this dream and hearing this voice to go and check on her and to look for specific items in a specific box. These visions were so real, they were so compelling. And you know what's the amazing thing? I found the box. The exact same box in my dream. And the items were exactly as I had seen them in my vision. She had access to our hair, our nail clippings, and these were actually used for her spells. I found them all in a box, alongside some handmade effigies wrapped in soil and covered in cloth with our nails and hair inside. Each effigy had our names on it. I obviously have suspected that she had been casting spells since she first moved in. It was done to make us docile and obliging to her. Whenever she wanted to send money home to her family, we were always very generous. It never occurred to us why we were acting that way. I just thought we were being nice people. There were a few occasions I could hear conversations in the living room late at night. When I went down to check, I thought I saw her talking to someone standing in the shadows. When I turned on the lights, it was only her kneeling down. She would look up at me and said she was praying. During the 3rd or 4th year, she got pregnant. She carried the baby to full term without any of us knowing, delivered the stillborn in our toilet, wrapped up the fetus in a bundle, and used it as a spirit assistant. When she was caught, we found many items in her possession: watches, money, iPhones, jewelry. That very Sunday, actually, when I found all these items, I called the boss of the agency right away, took photos, sent them to her, and said we wanted our maid out immediately. I believe when I found the items, the maid somehow knew about it too, because she came home early that day. I really did feel bad for her, to be honest. We didn't want to escalate it, the matter. Like I said, I didn't even want her being vindictive and start doing more things to hurt us, in revenge. So we booked her a flight and did everything, Swee. Even got her a decent hotel to stay for the night, before she left the next day. I'm not sure what happened to her, but maybe she's actually come back to Singapore to work again for another family. Who knows?
Shall we let Kim do the dissection first this time? Yeah?
Not so much to dissect, because it's pretty much whatever it is mentioned is already there, right? So, I want to say that I think it's a great advertisement for iPhone, no? Because it's mentioned there. So apparently, if there is an entity that steals stuff and only steal iPhone, so like Samsung is okay, Xiaomi no value, only steal iPhone only. So yeah, so Apple, if you're watching this. I think I've said this one too many times on the show, but since we have a new people with us here today, I'm going to say it again. Actually, when I started doing the show together with them, big fan of horror, big fan of supernatural, obviously. But at the same time, I'm actually scared. I'm actually quite scared. I mean, like, I don't want to see things when I go to the toilet, and shower. I also don't dare to close my eyes, although it's already very teary with shampoo leaking in. I'm still opening my eye because I don't want to close it and open and something else looking back at me, right? So, but as I got through this journey with SC, Supernatural Confession, SC, and 2 years down the line, and it almost, again, I've said it one too many times, I get this kind of stories almost every day. Right? We have people submitting stories, so because I have to produce it for the show, for podcasts, so I get stories every day. every day different story. One thing I picked up from all these 2 years, not so long, not so short of period, I noticed that there's one thing that kind of overrule the whole horror of mind to entity or spirits is humans are far worse, scarier than things. Right? Okay. I'll tell you why. Okay. This one, let's not just say in different religions. Let's just say Malaysian or Asian in general. If you look closely at all the stories or the one that you heard or the one that you have read, technically we are the only species that capture other species, kept them as a tool to harm our own species. We are the only one that did that, no. Even freaking demon don't do that, no. They don't do that, no. Their own species is their own species work together. We are the only freaking species that do that to harm our own species, no. My friend opened up nasi kandar shop. I see, wow, line so long, you know. What do our people do? Send thing to the shop, right? Send thing to the shop. People then text. We have tons of this kind of story. People text, hey Eugene, why come your nasi kandar not open today? You're like, I'm standing right in front of the shop. But people say, wait, I am at the shop, but I didn't see it open. It's not open. Cannot see the shop, right? Then who would do this kind of thing? Human again, it's human. Again, all this stealing stuff, let's just say it's a form of black magic. Only our species human would do this kind of thing, right? And again, if you go to like different places, you would see all these figures or things that might be popping out. Even the lady that landed on the balcony earlier on, right? It might be scary. But like what Eric would teach me would probably treat all this being with compassion. Probably it would be better, right? But of course we do not know if we bump into demon himself, then probably it would be a different story, right? But you see, if you talk to another human, if you're like this human can smile at you, talk very nicely to you, all praises and glory in front of you. But at the back, they can do the worst thing ever to you, right? And go back and tell Eugene, that day, didn't shower whole day, come to the house, all these things. And have you ever heard actually a story of an entity picked up a knife and stabbed you? No. But almost every day we hear stories, people picking up knife and stab another people, right? So I want to say from this story is also very nice for me to insert it in as after 2 years, human is a lot scarier than ghost. So yeah, so if you guys are here listening to this or also those online, if one day you think about something that you wanted to harm another person using forms of black magic like that, probably think again. Probably it's not worth it. Even though it's the worst ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend that you ever got, it's just not worth it. Because who knows what you have to do in return for the magic to work, right? There's always a price to anything. So yeah, think back. Probably let it go find another person.
I think it's a nice segue into what I want to talk about. Obviously, this confession is chock full of supernatural details, but what many of you may not know is what kind of supernatural are we dealing with. You hear baby wrapped in cloth, I see all reacting. You hear that the shadow thing. What is this story about? Okay, so I'm going to give you a bit of background information with regards to my understanding of this black magic. I believe that this maid was dealing with a jinn, where she would, that black shadow thing in the house, it was something that gave her power, something that she has to do sacrifices and do beatings for. So that's what you say is correct. When you use black magic to gain something, there's always a very, very high price to pay. Some of you may have heard or seen enough Hollywood movies to say it's 3 times the price. And how do you quantify 3 times? If you're going to get a lot of wealth and power and you say, no, I'm just going to get one handphone and I'm done. No, usually power draws and corrupts. You never want to stop because it's so easy using black magic and it draws you. So there are people, when you deal with genes or deal with all these demonic entities, usually get tempted into power. Most of us, logical mind is not going to go up there and say, where do I sign up, right? You get tempted into it. And probably, I'm trying to find a very nice human side to this person. Maybe this maid was abused before. Maybe she came from a very bad place. Because I'm always thinking, what would drive somebody to do black magic and pay that price? How many of you here today would willingly pay the price for black magic? Just so I understand who I'm talking to. No, if you're given fortune and power, sign here. Anyone? Willingly? So usually this demon or this jinn will affect you when you are down, when you are depressed, when you are had a bad breakup, it's lowest point in your life. Then you're very tempted. Sign here. And once you sign and your life is good, you cannot stop. Sacrifices must be made. And in this case, I'm not sure whether the baby, her stillborn, was the result of a sacrifice to, right, to the dead entity, or was she using it as a toyo? Either one, because they talk about stealing after that and everything. So I'm kind of in two minds about it. Maybe you guys can share what you believe later on. I don't think, because at the end of the story, the confession said, we don't know what happened to her and whether she came back or not. My sense is that she got off too easily. Because nobody there to do anything to her. Because why? You got my nail clipper, my hair, you have something against me, I will never do that against you, I'll let you go. Now you're someone else's problem. New house, new magic, repeat. Yeah, so that's what I like about this, because there is like a part 2 or part 3 and a never-ending story. What I'm really interested is at the end of time when she has to pass away, how painful would that be? Oh, that would be interesting to find out.
Everything that was shared in that video, from a stillbirth, now stillbirths happen. The fact that she got pregnant as a maid already is a big deal, right? She would have gotten into trouble in Singapore. You send her home, she doesn't get her full pay. That's the Singapore law, right? There's a lot of that. Now, stillbirths happen, whether it's because of black magic, but naturally they do happen as well. So that, to me, that is not at all supernatural, very easy to explain. Having a box of things. Now, I've spoken to people, other families, who have had maids that come with beliefs and things from kampong, village, which are very backward to us because we live in a city, we're modern, but very backward beliefs. And they come with this mindset that I need to be well accepted by the family so that I can fulfill 2 years contract, save money and go home. So they're willing to do almost anything for that. Whether or not it worked, she had those things. We don't really know if it had any power. I don't have enough evidence of that. But if, in the story, it was said that the child listened to the maid. Now, if the maid is the main caregiver to this child, of course they're going to have a bond. The child may behave better with the main caregiver. To me, that is also not supernatural. That is very easy to inculcate in a child. Love through bond and connection. So those few things, just not enough for me.
What about the vision? Specifically the box, the items in the box,
yeah,
the
but
vision.
Having seen that, she could have come across it. Now, when you pick the maid up from the agency, you do go through the things. It may not have occurred to her. She may have thought about it, and it became a recurring vision. It's planted in your head. You're going to see it again. You're going to wonder about it.
Subconscious.
Yes. Even that, I don't find that to be a very big contributing factor into that vision, even with the shadow. Now, you walk past a room, it is quite dark, and then you've got curtains, shadows cast from all sorts of things. That to me is...
My house don't have that kind of shadow. And I don't walk into a space, you put shadow here.
Still not enough. Nothing in there was enough to convince me. In fact... we can't even prove that there was power in the things that she was doing. The stillbirth was the worst for me because, you know what? Stillbirths happen. People do have, it does happen. And very interestingly, I want to add on to what you said about humans being the worst. I completely agree with you on that. What about us being on the other realm? How do we know that the bunyan aren't sitting around having a conversation about humans doing these very same things? How do we know they're not having those conversations?
Bunyan confessions.
I wanted to say, but I feel very bad, although I didn't tell you guys this, because early in the morning today, actually Eric texted me and say, do you guys want to go to the Kampong Bunyan by the waterfall that he told us? I said, because I don't have the time today, so probably some other day. Sonia is still here, Eric, so you can bring her there. I won't be around. Eugene's flying off, so bring Sonia only. But make sure she come back. Later Singapore report missing person. I don't know how to explain. No. Last scene together with Kim, then how? I don't know. So okay, I wanted to add on just a bit before we move on to the next one. I thought Sonia is gonna go with, people can be collectors lah. Some people collect stamps, some people collect coins. Probably this maid collects effigies, collect nails.
No, to collect it, you see, to collect all these things. Yes, you can collect it, but is there any real power in it? It's you give power to the things that you believe in, but it's not necessarily shared by everyone around you. So it's just not enough for me.
So it's like as if I take your hair today, I take your nail, I put into effigy, I go back home, I hit the thing.
But
it may not, nothing happen lah.
Yes.
Want try not?
No one. I can get a super rational one. Okay. So we're gonna move on to the next one. So if you guys want to talk to Jean, the only Jean that you can talk to is Eugene. So you can talk to Eugene. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next one. So the next one actually, he doesn't know we actually produce his confession. He doesn't know we produce his confession, but because he is actually a very, very shy person. He tell us story pun, he like very, very quietly tell us story, but he has a lot of stories put up together. But that one takes a lot of our time to actually dig. Then he tells a bit, dig, tells a bit, dig, tells a bit. So I have to compile everything together and get our narrator. So this is Desmond, a narration, another narrator from SC. So ladies and gentlemen, you have been hearing the name whole night. So this is Eric's confession.
I'm a tattoo artist by profession. There's also something else I do that I don't talk about, and that is to help spirits earn their merits and fulfill their last wishes. This gift came to me 5 years ago after I returned to Kuching from London. I decided to take it slow, get out of the corporate race and move backwards. When I had time to rest my mind and really open my senses, I began to discover that I can actually sense them. Many of these spirits died of violent death, mainly accidents, drowning, suicide. I will keep their spirit with me in vessels like bamboo and rocks. Over time, these vessels will take the shape of the spirits. The longer the spirit stays in there, the more pronounced the shapes will be. Some of these you can see are shaped like a woman's body, or a rock with a face. These do not look like that when I first brought them home. They live to reincarnate after I earned enough merits for them. I keep these empty vessels as a memory. Since then, I have been helping spirits on a daily basis. It's been 5 years. Now, spirits can roam freely into my house to find me. Even my wife and daughter can see them. In return, these spirits help me win lottery. They pay me back that way. I won lottery many times already. Some of the photos I have on exhibition here today are taken by me at places where I have spotted spirits and they have made their presence felt. This photo, taken in the temple for instance, shows the before and after shot. One clearly empty and the other looks like a person standing there. That's not a person. The temple is empty. That's a spirit living in the temple. She belongs to the temple and is earning her merits there. Most of these spirits are harmless. They are curious. This other photo shows 4 black figures in by the sky. These, I believe, are celestial beings. They waved at me. 3 came from the sky. I saw them. And the 4th came out of the mosque. I don't have any plans to stop doing what I'm doing. At first, it was unusual experiencing all these. I wasn't scared. It felt just like anyone coming up to me to ask for help. But now, sudahlah, used to it already lah. Confess.
Okay, so that is Desmond. So you can see actually the shirt, it's the same shirt that I'm wearing. It's just that last time Eugene's tagline used to be lie, 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 confess. So he will always ask people to confess, or lie, 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 confess, right? So that's why Desmond put it on his shirt. So thank you very much, Eric, for the story. Okay, so the one point that caught my attention was Eric mentioned, actually these spirits pay me back. They gave me a lot of lottery winnings. So we do not know whether that is true or not, but you guys, if you guys do your intention, your good merits or kindness, right? If you are heading to the direction, I want to win lottery, I guarantee you, you would not win. Yeah. I guarantee you, you would not win. Because Eric do whatever he does today, it's so willingly. He just do it like as if it's as if we are breathing like that. It's so natural to him. Eric never wanted to share all the photos that we put up. A lot of these photos, we also think that he has no reason to alter, to fake it. Because he is not putting any of this photo up on the internet to become famous. He never aims for that. He doesn't want to become famous. He doesn't want to become viral. And then, he put 4 celestial beings in the sky and tell people the world, put on TikTok saying that this is what I saw. This photo, the celestial being, the one that you can actually see in the exhibition, that photo is actually collecting dust in his studio. Because I'm one of his clients doing getting tattooed, when I tell him about what we do, then he slowly opens up a bit and a bit and a bit. After a few times visiting this tattoo studio, then he showed me this photo and said, this is actually a photo that I took, and this is a celestial being that I felt. They were waving at me. So then I felt like there's no reason for him to actually alter all this, because he's not getting anything out of this. But by day, he is just a tattoo artist, talented tattoo artist, by the way. So there's a lot of great artworks that he has done. And I want to say, I just, for me, not so much to debunk, but I want to really thank Eric for everything that he does and also helping out in the exhibition and all our events. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Eric.
Yeah. So one of the things because I've interviewed over hundreds of confessors, and a lot of this confession that we take for our show and for you guys, the people come to us, no fame, no fortune, nothing. And based on the belief of how I set up Supernatural Confessions, it's about sharing. It's about having someone go, bro, I feel you, you're not crazy. I went through that as well. And that's when we start to open up and to destigmatize our own experiences. And it seems when I talked to Eric, Eric was like, no, I don't want to be on video, I want to be on photo, So I think pretty much like Kim, I had to put my body on the line to go get Eric to tattoo me, so while I interview him. Eric! So 6 hours he interviewed me, he tattooed me, I will talk to him lah. Hopefully I can get some more stories out of it. But I'll definitely want to come back here again, Eric, for sure, and have an investigation to go all these places in Sarawak that you guys have been recommending. And let's see what we find out of it for you guys.
Eric, thank you so much. Thanks again. Amazing pictures. Also, I wanted to add that, I don't say I don't believe. I just fall to science first, fall to logic first. But I've had my own experiences too. And I'd like to share that one of the pictures that is up behind this panel here, the one that's on my right, immediate right, there is a picture that we took when we were in Bali recently. And we were in an abandoned wood carving factory. It'd been abandoned for a long time. We were directed to this place to go check it out because we were doing a bit of an investigation and some isolation as well to see what we could pick up. Now, I was taking pictures. I take pictures with my mirrorless camera, and lighting conditions aren't quite as good. But if you were to look at this picture, and I encourage all of you to do so later and pick this discussion back up with me, tell me what you see. Because when I first was reviewing all the pictures that I had taken, I saw this picture, I put it into the group chat that we have, and I asked them, I said, guys, what's this? And it was a shadowy figure. It looked female, had a bun, and it's a human figure. And I'm Miss Rational here, right? So was I seeing things? Okay, let me check with the team. And we went beyond. We asked a Balian or someone who's known as a shaman in Bali, we sent him that picture and we asked him, what is it that you see? He said it is a female entity that lives in that space. So I encourage you to have a look at that picture, share your thoughts with me and tell me what you think. It's still up in the air. Some of us say it's shadow, some of us say it's entity. But I think it's worth a discussion. So your pictures, when I look at your pictures, I go, they can be captured on film.
The thing about photographs, guys, if the ghosts appear too clearly, fake one lah, swear got ghost so clear. If the ghosts appear blur, so blur how to see ghosts. Sometimes the ghosts don't even appear at all, but people that I can see, you can draw circle, where got ghosts there. So
with this particular one,
yeah,
because of where we were and what I had experienced myself there, it's very questionable, right? So
So stay tuned to Supernatural Confessions. We'll be releasing that featured video very soon. Joseph de Cotta, one of our hosts, it will be the one producing it.
Yeah, okay. So we have come to one final confession. So before we go to that confession, actually, this is by Vanessa. So Vanessa came for Wednesday show, which we sit around here. Everybody was given a candle and they tell their stories. And Vanessa actually had a story that it's the entity or the creature that she saw was very clear. So yeah, then after that, Eugene had to pull her aside and then sat outside and quickly take the video, record the video, and I quickly have to chase them away because it's almost 10 p.m. by then. So guys, this is Vanessa's confession.
Camps, right? And my duty was to go around with other prefects to look out for my junior prefects, make sure they are sleeping. And on the day itself, I was having my period. And on that night itself, I was quite busy. I was the last person to actually shower. That bathroom there is open lah. Anybody can peek onto you, So I was showering, me being a scaredy cat, I actually looked up and then I was looking around. I realized at one moment, there is this thing actually crawled up and put its claws on top of the shower door. I looked at it, I saw a red eye and blue eye. And then it has fangs. So I thought that it was just my imagination at the first place. And I said, no, this is not happening to me. I'm not going to do this. I just want to go. So I quickly shower, I dry myself up, and I went out. And that night, I realized there is a bruise at my leg. I thought this is not a good sign. I called my mom. I said, can you help me see around? Maybe there's something actually follow me. And she said, no lah, it was just something that passed by. And then I feel like a wind just passed by and then I stopped for a while. And then second time, the thing came again. That's when I saw my knee at that time. At the same time I saw my knee, the bruise spreads out. Like I said earlier, when you put a paint in water, it spreads out. I was shaking. I went to the auditorium and then I was shaking. And then I just went back and lie down. I think for a few minutes my friend was talking to me, but I was not responding. I realized my eyes were open. I realized what's happening, except I can't speak. My hands were numb. My whole bodies were numb. And my friend said, "There's something wrong with you. What's wrong with you?" And then he starts to call all other friends to come along, and said, "She's not responding to me. Something is wrong." And I was just looking up at them and my tears just starts to drop. I don't know why, what's wrong with me? And then I heard them say, call her mom. So at 3 a.m, my mom rushed all the way from Kota Semarahan, go down to school and said, what's wrong with you? She asked me then. I can't respond because my mouth was really sealed. My mom said there's something wrong with her. So my mom, she has this healing power to actually take out whatever spirit that's in the body, and she does that a few times to my face, but I was still looking up to her, saying that it's not working. So she said we have to find the source of that thing. So she went to the toilet. I don't know how she knows she went to the toilet. She said it must be the toilet. She did something, I don't know what she did, and after that I feel like my body was lifted up. And I asked her, I said, what happened? That thing is following you, and obviously you want your blood. She said like that. I said, how does that thing look like? Mind you, I didn't tell her, how does that thing look like? I did not. And she said, that thing has a blue eye and a red eye. I asked her, does it have legs? She said, no. That is exactly the thing that I saw earlier, and it has 2 fangs. And she said, yes, that is exactly the thing that come crawling to you, that wants you. She said like that. So I said like, I don't know. After that night, we were actually banned from camp. We were not allowed. I don't know how news spread so fast the next day. But after that, my mom said everything was all right after that. And she somehow just said she throw it away. I don't know. She throw it away somewhere. So, but that was the last thing that actually happened to me. I pray it won't happen to me again, because it's 2 times of possessed.
First, Kim, you cannot go that kind of toilet. You would be the entity. Yes. So she saw what she saw, right? She said it was a creature with a red eye and a blue eye. It had fangs. Those kinds of situations in that kind of a, it's like those are cubicle toilets. Yeah, that doesn't reach straight up to the ceiling. Now, she saw what she saw. I can't say anything about that. I was not there. I didn't see it. She was alone. She ran out in fear. Now, I want to focus on her bruise. She said that her bruise, it started getting larger and larger. Now, when you bump into something, could she have, in her rush to get out of this cubicle, somehow bump into something? Now, she rushed out. She was in a state of fear, shock, all of that. And she rushed out of that cubicle. Could she have bumped against something that caused that bruise? Now, if any of your capillaries or any of your veins burst, blood is going to spread out into the surrounding tissue. And that's exactly what happened. The bruise gets bigger and bigger because the blood is now flooding the tissue that's around it. That I can explain. Now, the possession bit, she said she couldn't speak, she was frozen. There is paralysis, fear-induced paralysis even. Is that what she went through? I'm not sure. She said she felt like she was stuck, she couldn't speak. It sounds like paralysis brought on by what she went through, by fear. I've met Vanessa. She was here, long line of healers. She rejected that gift. So she's already predisposed to the supernatural. You come from a family where they're going to be talking about the supernatural because they are healers. You're predisposed already. Your mind is already primed for the supernatural. Wow. So, I still am not convinced.
Okay.
Sonia gave me a very good explanation. I told him buying it. I don't think it's a hantu as well. Thank you very much, guys. Okay. Do you want to go first?
You can go.
Okay. When I spoke to Vanessa, I can sense the fear is real. It's very real to her. And when she's telling me the story, obviously, because I'm already wanting to believe, what's next? What's next? And I'm lapping it up. Okay. Again, you brought up very good points about her having already the belief of the supernatural. She did say she was a pedakut ayam. So the fear is there. To be paralyzed by fear, everything that you brought up, it's very hard to counter-argue to it. But I'm just going to draw some parallel experiences that other people have encountered with similar stories with Vanessa. I was in a school camp. How many of you were in a school camp, right? Did you guys hear ghost stories and things happening to you all? Yeah.
I heard the ghost stories, but nothing happened.
I would say in a school camp story, and I'm actually leaning towards this side for a bit. Most of the stories that people experience is usually pass me down or fear-induced. Because someone will tell you a story, you got a suggestion in your mind, I also saw the shadow. I get you that. But there was an incident where the door cannot be opened, and we all saw in Singapore, so I think Seremban camp. Serembun camp. There was an entity that flew out of the toilet, all of us saw out the window.
Giant bat.
Yeah. So with this sort of things, and we have had a lot of confessions with regards to people seeing all this, there were claw marks on the body, there were bruises, and law, talking about law here, right? Just a show of hands, all the Asian people here, we have Singaporeans, we have Sarawakians. For the ladies, how many of you have heard warning from your grandmothers that when you are having menses, is a time where the hantu will attack? Yes? Yeah? I see all the hands coming in.
I
Yeah?
have an explanation for that one.
Yeah. So where does this belief come from? I like to think that all these superstitions passed down from grandparents, great-grandparents to us has some truth to it. And also when I speak to spiritual masters and all, when you are having your menses, it's that time when you will be susceptible to getting spiritual attacked. Now what is dangerous for me here is, yes, it is hantu, it may not be hantu, we are sitting on the fence. Are we about to take the risk to debunk the hantu and then get attacked and then get possessed? Or should we as Asians, never mind lah, don't believe also never mind lah, just follow lah to be safe. So I'm leaning towards, let's just be safe. Maybe hantu, may not be hantu, let's just believe it's a hantu and follow some protection. Yeah?
So that's gonna go with, because of hygiene issue lah. That's why our grandparents say, if you don't throw your sanitary pad properly, hantu is gonna come bite you. So because of hygiene issue lah, that is what Sonia is gonna go with. Okay, before I go to this story, let me, I guess, put the locals into some stories about school camps. Okay, you guys know, I'm not gonna say name, you guys know any camp that has obstacle course but set behind a school? You guys know, no need to say name, but you guys know where is this? You guys know, right? Okay, have you guys been to that camp before? Never been to that camp before. Have you been to that camp before? Not Batu Kawah, not Batu Kawah. It's another one, The obstacle course is actually set right in the middle of the camp. It's behind the school. I attended a lot of camps, that is one time. And I remember it's because of this particular incident. We set up our camp. We have to set up our camp. It's not a dome or whatnot. We have to set up our camp and obstacle course and whatnot. We have to, like, there's kitchen, there's toilet where it's just a drum barrel dig into. So I remember this story is because we are supposed to patrol at night. So me and the buddy will take 2-hour shift. Everybody will take 2-hour shift. 2-hour shift, you go sleep, then after that you wake up another person, and you go like that, right? Everybody will get a turn. So I remember, I think my shift is 4 to 6 in the morning. So I went to sleep lah. Before that, I went to sleep lah. I think 3:30 before my shift at 4, 3:30 or before 3:30 somebody come in. Kim, get up. I'm like, what, chill, what up, you know? Sleeping, 4 my time is 4 I always have a habit of wearing watch, so I know the time, right? 4 no, get up, something happened. Okay lah, get up. So I got up, my buddy also got up, the one that's supposed to work at 4. He also got up. So the both of us went out. So we saw this guy, I don't remember his name really, let's call Adi, right? Adi. So Adi, it's pale, like pale, right? Shivering, sitting in the kitchen. And then we're like, what happened? Then he said, he saw something. And okay lah, well, then how? Then he's like, okay, get the guardian or the facilitator, then do whatever they need to do, then we just do whatever we need to do lah. So okay lah, then we continue. I don't know what happened to the facilitator and Adi until the next morning. Next morning, Adi straight away got admitted into hospital. Yeah, due to, I don't know what lah. We also do not know, but we still have, I think, 1-2 nights to go. So we still remain in the camp. Not until a week later, after that, I met Adi after the camp. So Adi say, what happened is actually when he went around, because we are supposed to go around. So the kitchen is here, the living, okay, let's say the sleeping place is here. That is where the kitchen is. There is a bathroom. So the bathroom is like an open bathroom where it's a space cordoned off, and inside there's a huge tub where they collect rainwater. They also collect tap water also lah. So you shower there with everybody with your underwear. Yeah, gayong. So everybody shower there. But the place where it's the toilet is also there lah, but it's split into half, men and women. The place has only one door, right? So as he was walking around here, then his buddy said, hey, I want to go kitchen grab crackers. So he said, okay, I continue, then you catch up later. But the camp is not huge, it's not big. So he went, he walked, and then after that, the friend went to the kitchen to get crackers. Then he walked until the bathroom, right? This is what he saw. He saw an apek. He said it looks like a Malay apek, sarong, topless. He stood out of the bathroom wall, he looked at him, and then he popped back in. Okay. Around that area, there is village. But he's like, got uncle come and peeping Tom ka, whatever, I don't know. But this is in the midnight. He like, got people. So he immediately rushed the bathroom, went in, opened all the toilet, checked the bathroom. There was nobody there.
But the uncle very fast. He ran away.
Probably lah. But that is, I guess that is the most not so scary, but also scary story that I've heard from that camp. And that is the last time I go that camp. After I heard that story, people signed me up for that, and no, I'm not going. So yeah, it's a fun camp, but if you guys know where and you guys happen to go somehow, yeah, so just be careful of the toilet bathroom Okay, then let's go to Vanessa's story. Vanessa's story, I felt that actually Vanessa, because like you say again, it's passed down generations to generations. I felt that is a, what do you call that? Tempias. What is it called? Tempias. No, it's like a bit kena already lah, because it's passed down. Although he said he don't want it, but she actually possessed that ability. So I do think that she actually can see that thing, and she just doesn't know how to deal with it until the mother come, right? Because, okay, additional story is, she came early on before this event, early on Wednesday, I think it was in the afternoon. She walked up together with a friend, and then when she got up, she like, when I told her all the stories about the exhibition and whatnot, she like, you know what, actually, something happened downstairs. So she told us a story that actually when she was walking up the stairs and she was reading all the Know Your Hantu, right? The thing was pasted on the staircase. And she felt this, somebody touch her at the back, down staircase, right? So she like, then after that she looked at the friend like, what happened? And then she like, did you touch me? And the friend said, no. So she felt like somebody actually pushed her and asked her to go up. Okay? That story collaborate with the rest of the stories that told by other people, which at the 100 candles that we did, Eric told the same story whereby Eric has a friend which is a manager in the building nearby here. Friend can see saying that this space is actually okay, but it's downstairs that is not okay. Manager saw a big hairy creature roaming that downstairs. I do not know. So, or in Kuching we can call it Mawas also can, right? There's a female spirit residing in the theatre and also the tree right in front here. So, yeah. On this tree in the front here. Yeah. So, I'm not chasing you guys off at 10 p.m., but yeah, anything that you happen to stay around here after 10 p.m. is on your own responsibility. Okay, just to ease the mood off. I want to say Vanessa's mother is like any of our Asian mother. Already possessed already. Still want to ask, what's wrong with you? Or the Sarawakian, kena kau. Right. We sometimes accident.
What did you do?
Yalah. Lay down, accident, patah tangan, kena kau. Right? Apa hal you? So yeah, I guess the mother got see possessed already. What happened to you?
I think what's interesting thing is the mother could, I mean, if we say that it's all her imagination, then one thing really stands out for me. How can the mother know exactly what she saw and where to go with no prior knowledge? To me, that's the one big question mark that I cannot answer, and which leads me to believe what she saw was something that was very real.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we are supposed to call it off at 9:30, so we got a bit of time. So I'm gonna open it to the floor. Anybody got any question? Anything you want to share with us? Yeah, anything? Just take the microphone and talk.
I do have one thing to add. About the bruises that Vanessa has, I think it's a very common thing that happens to people who has been like kacau and things like that. Like when you sleep at night and then there's nothing on your bed, and then when you wake up, you have bruises on your knees. Those are like really common things that happen to most people. And what people call these bruises are kena cubit hantu. Kena cubit hantu. And like about the menstrual cycle that happens with women, I think that's also a very common like warning that old people would tell you, like make sure you clean those pads properly. And I believe a lot in spiritual things. Like I enjoy them. I do like them a lot. So I'm very interested. And I think from what I gather from a lot of people is that the places that they commonly kena kacau is mostly like toilets and like very dirty places because we believe that spirits are really leaning towards the flesh of the blood and things like that. So what do you think about all these common things happening to people? Do you still not believe that like it's an entity sort of happening? Like do you still not believe that? Just a question.
Thank you.
Trying to convert me, it seems. Interesting that you brought up the menstrual cycle. I can science that one out for you quite easily, simply because I myself am a woman and I am actually anemic. So I have, my red count isn't quite so good. It affects my blood pressure. I tend to get weaker during my menstrual cycle. And that is actually the real reason why our nenek moyang, our elders advise us to be careful during that time. You can easily have a blood pressure drop, collapse, and it has happened to me, so I speak from experience. It may not happen to everybody else, but we are weaker during that time. Now, does that explain what happened to her? I don't know. But to be a full convert, I need to experience it. I have done isolations. I go
2% tomorrow.
and all of that. I'm not saying that I don't believe. I believe to a certain extent, but my natural way of processing is science, logic first. And then if all else fails and it happens to me, who's to say I won't say those words? Who's to say?
Okay, thank you very much, Sonia. Thank you very much. Trying to be in the team Hantu and tell Sonia. Okay, anybody else? Anything else to say? Oh yeah, okay, the team Super Rational also. This is another team, Sonia.
Okay, so I think that she's just being bashed the whole night, so I'm gonna come and support her. So I think that a lot of the things that needs to be discussed as well with a lot of these things is, number one is, the human brain is really mysterious. There's just many things that we can't really keep into account. Like that's why we even have in science, we have something called placebos, right? It's even like when we're testing medicines, we have even given a fact that we had a placebo just to double check the effects of human thinking into that sense. So basically, I'm trying to say that I am exactly like how she is. I don't necessarily think that like they don't exist or something like that. I believe in them to a degree, but I also think that some of them maybe is science, some of them cannot, I don't know. But in that sense, will I be like here at 10 p.m.? No, I'll be 10 feet away there outside somewhere else. And that kind of thing. Like, of course, like if someone like I'm not Sarawakian, I'm from the Philippines. So the stories here are different to me. My experiences are also different. In my sense, in my province, they always tell me, oh, if you're gonna step into the grass, into the jungle, you have to say tabi tabi po in my language. That means, excuse me. You know, you have to pay your respects. Like, I don't know who's there. They always say that there is the creatures they call, it's like elves or something, you know, kind of things. I always like, okay, I don't want to disrespect anything. I don't want to. Yeah, exactly. So as I was trying to go back to my point, it's just that, yeah, I think that a lot of the stories here, definitely you don't want to discourage people. It's what they see is what they see, and that's the way it should be. We don't be like, oh no, you're crazy. No, you accept it the way because they saw it. They wouldn't say it to you if they didn't see it. But at the same time, I also think exactly like that. I think of like the possible rationality of things first. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And yeah, it's just that I think also like the placebo and the hormones and like everything in the human mind, the way you see things could make a difference into these things. But yeah, that's really it. So yeah.
Thank you. Can I have one more? Yeah. So, one last thing. I feel like how the mother knew where it was is also, I feel like, mother's intuition. Like moms just know, like whenever these things happen, or she just knows the best remedy, or she just knows where it is. Not only that she's a woman, but she's also a mother. So I feel like, yeah, like shout out to mothers, you know? Shout out to mothers, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So anybody else? Not just the confession. If you have any other questions about any other thing, yes, sir.
Just want to ask if Sonia's like a Scorpio.
Is she?
No.
I am. But why? Yeah, I am. Oh, I should be Sonia instead, is it?
Yeah, because Scorpios are known to be logical thinkers, but they're also spiritually connected somehow. So I'm a Scorpio, so I was wondering if those two sides of you are conflicting somehow, like, you know, logical versus the supernatural and so on and so forth. But I just want to comment also on Vanessa's story, the fact that her mother's a healer. That's something like, you know, how to say it? It's not kebetulan. It's like when you watch a movie and it's a convenience, you know, like of all the people that, you know, got hunted, she was the person, and it turns out the mother is a healer. I feel like it's so convenient, you know, like why, you know, that kind of thing. So I'm not dismissing her story, but the convenience when you watch a movie, right? It's like, very convenient things happening, you know. It's for the plot, kind of thing. Yeah, that's it.
You know, like another show that's a vertical for supernatural confessions. It's called Ghost Yes, and that's what they do. They talk about horror movies that way. So you should watch that show too. Yes.
Yeah.
Can I say something? I'm a Leo, and did you get that? You got that vibe, right? And my aura is actually purple, and I'm extremely intuitive. So is there a conflict within me being this rational and doing what I do with these nutcases? Yes. There's great dissonance, and maybe that's why I'm on the show. I'm trying to find my own peace. Thank you.
Okay, so no further question? Anybody, no further question? Okay, we're gonna sign off like how we usually do on Friday Night Live. Sonia, sign off first.
I want to say that we all miss Joe. We have another co-host that's usually with us. He's not feeling very well, so please send him positive thoughts, you know, and well wishes. We miss that he's not here. He's even more rational than me. Okay, he'll out-rationalize me. That being said, there are a lot of people that are involved in Supernatural Confessions. It's going to be hard to name them all. There are several shows. Go to YouTube, have a look at what everybody does. There are different verticals, you know, that all of you might be interested in. I normally sign off by saying, you know, and it's right up here, that there is a super rational explanation for most things. I can't explain away everything. So my caveat is that most things I can explain away.
Okay, you sign off last. All right, once again, thank you very much. Shout out to Hous, shout out to the artists. So we have one of them, Mr. Eric is here. We have Rabanni, we have Reef, all this. Without them, without the artists, without Hous, without WAK, this would not be possible. Also, shout out to our community from Singapore, all the way from Singapore. So we also have from West Malaysia coming in to join us tonight and also tomorrow for the tour, right? Okay, so for those that is new, we are found on the website www.supernaturalconfessions.com. So if you like to watch on YouTube, we are also there. If you like to listen just to stories, me telling all these stories without debunking it, yeah, that is on release every Wednesday night, 10 p.m. on Spotify and other podcast platform as well. So you can also search for us, Supernatural Confessions. We are also on Facebook as well. So yeah, thank you so much everybody for coming, and I appreciate it. And also thank you very much to girlfriend for making tonight smooth. Okay, so that's Syaz. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. I'm Kim signing off with whatever you don't see doesn't mean it is not there.
All right, and I'm signing off with a brand new tagline. First time, this Sarawak special. The greatest lie that the devil has ever pulled is to convince you guys that he doesn't exist. Right, good night everybody. Thank you. I really don't feel good.
Is there anyone here? What did you find? You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.